quick recap of what we did, so that we are thorough with it, and you also know what you want, because one of your project question, which is drama based, it is on Shakespeare. Okay, so we had discussed about Shakespeare and his early life. I told you where he was born. I also mentioned a little, how things were, what it was, where he was, who he was married to. I've also mentioned that. And how he was, there is a certain period where we are not aware about his activities. We do not know, but the speculation, that is, the rumor is that he probably was a traveling actor or a schoolmaster. That is why that particular period is not known to us. But we also know that he was born on 23rd of April in and the place of his birthplace is Stratford upon Avon in England, and his mother's name was Mary Arden and his father's name was John. His wife was Annie Hathaway, and he had three children. Now, Shakespeare, he died on 23rd of April, the day he was born. That is the same day he died, and that was in 1616. So this is what I was telling you about Shakespeare and his early life, about his education, and also the period that we do not know. That time in London, I also mentioned how it was, and how what we know about England of that period. We know about its literary and the artistic, the revolution that it created through drama and plays. But let me tell you, children, I told you these are information that have been gathered from the nobility. There were, the rich class was very few in number. Majority of the people were living under poverty. They were very poor people during that time. So the lifestyle of the poor people, we do not have a clear picture about that. But yes, we do know that commerce and culture, it started booming under the reign of Elizabeth I, who promoted theater. Okay, so that is one thing I've also told you. See, as I mentioned, how most of the information is from the educated nobility. There's majority of the people during that time, their lives were, they were working class people. There was like improper drainage system. The societies were not that clean. That's why when you see these time period movies, you will see that the population of it, they look very dirty. They were, they were only, the water was not pure, the living standard was not, hygienic. So that is how things were during that period. Then I also mentioned about Queen Elizabeth, how she promoted. She was an ardent fan of the plays that were being, performed, and how it started slowly, steadily. It started gathering, and therefore, initially, people who acted in plays, who did theaters, they were looked down upon. People considered them to be from the inferior. They were not somebody who were respectable. Therefore, what happened was, when Elizabeth I started promoting the theater, that is when slowly, steadily, people realized the importance of performance. Okay, so that is how she influenced it. And after her death, it was King James I who continued with it. So this also I mentioned, and I also told you that the first theater was also called. Yes, there are 10 participants who have raised their hand. You like it, or you want to say something? So, in those days, as I told you, theaters, they were just a simple stage. And I also mentioned how the class differentiation was maintained. The privileged ones, people from the noble families, the queen herself, they would all be seated over here in these balconies. And the poor people, the labor class, known as the groundlings, they would stand in this pit. What was this called? The pit. Okay, and therefore, when we are going to study Shakespeare, you will see that there is one point which is repeated time and again. For example, suppose the actor has to say to the actress, um, my darling, I like you. One sentence is enough when you're paying attention, like the way you all are doing right now, right? It is clear to you what is the message conveyed. But that time, what would happen was, these people who were standing in the pit, They were from, uneducated people. So probably there would be one who may have pushed the other one, and then they would say, a fight would start off. Now, to explain that one line, the actor would go about, go all the way about it. Darling, you see, I like you. You see, like the moon, I like you. Like the stars. Till the attention of the audience is not, diverted to them, they will go on saying that same line, repetition. This is one feature that you will find in Shakespeare's play. When we are going to do Merchant of Venice, you will see one line is repeated time and again, and you wonder, why is that person, why is it being repeated? This is the reason, to grab the attention of the audience. Shakespeare didn't know, no, I'll be teaching Merchant of Venice to you and you'll be quietly listening to me. So that is why there are these points that keeps on being repeated. Okay, so that is one feature. And as I told you, there would be fights and there would be dry humor. Dry humor means something you don't find funny, something that absolutely that is going to make you tickle and then you will laugh, not naturally. These kind of dry humors was for these people who were in the standing in the pit. They liked all this, like for example, jokes which you will find absolutely baseless. You will say that, ma'am, where is the humor, please explain it to me. You may come across, you may say that to me, because you need to enact it, you need to act it out, you need to make those funny faces when you are performing it. That is why we never say plays are read. We say plays are meant to be performed. We are not calling you all as readers. We are calling you as the audience, because you have to see it. Clear, children? What theater, what drama and stage is all about? Manas, are you finding this interesting? So I also mentioned yesterday about the effects that were created. Okay. Now to have even this one, if you see trapdoors were there to add supernatural effect, these were also limited to few theaters. There is one aspect that those people, the audience wanted, was the effect of supernatural. For example, if you have read Julius Caesar, if you have seen the movie or you've read about Julius Caesar, then you will get to know that there were certain supernatural effects. For example, there is this, the ghost of Caesar is seen. Then they will see that, fireballs are being dropped from heaven, lions are roaming on the street, a way to indicate something unnatural is about to take place. Now, now they did not have all the technological backup to perform this, so they had this little trap door where all of a sudden the actor would jump out. Whoo! And you see, ah, that's the ghost, probably. Okay, so that is how they would perform. It was a very difficult task in those days to go ahead with that. For example, if you needed to make change of scene, suppose from the city, the scene changed to a forest, how would you show that? In those days, one of the actors would hold a twig, probably a branch of a tree, and they will cross the stage. Ah, there, change of scene now. And then somebody would come with a little placard saying forest. And that is how scenes were performed. Not like in today's time, where you have an LED effect and there is this, the sound effect, all that creates that ambience. It was not there. Plays were mostly performed in during the afternoon time, as I told you, to save the cost of the candles. And also, children, another interesting fact about Shakespeare's theater was that plays were never performed on Thursdays, because Thursdays, it was meant for bear baiting. Now, what is bear baiting? That is for you to find out and write in your research work. Okay. So Thursdays, plays were never performed. It was rest of the days they had performed, the performance would go on.
Can you tell the word again, bear?
Bear, B-E-A-R, bear baiting, B-A-I-T-I-N-G, bear baiting. Okay. Now the different categories of plays that was, you people would get to know, audience would get to know by the flags that was hoisted, on top of the theater. These are some of the plays, I already mentioned it to you, and some of the important words vanish into the thin air created by Shakespeare. I am not going to, say in detail about this, because part of your research work for drama is to find out about the quotes and his words that he has created. Do you know even the word assassination is actually coined by Shakespeare? Have you heard about the word? Did you hear the term assassination?
Yes,
Children,
ma'am.
you've heard it? That was also coined by Shakespeare. Okay. So these are some of the tragedies, comedies, and historical plays written by Shakespeare. Believe me, it's so interesting. Now the question comes, why are we studying Shakespeare, 400-year-old, in this time, in the modern time? Why? What is the reason to study his plays? Who will answer this question? What is, I'm not giving, I'm just having a healthy discussion out here. You can give me your inputs. Why do you think we are studying Shakespeare, a playwright, a dramatist who's 400 years old? I mean, come on, there's no link. Why are we studying that?
Can I try?
Let Neo, I have asked Neo to answer this. What is his opinion? Let's hear that, and then I'll give you also a chance.
May I try?
Let him say. Let
May
him
I
say
try?
first. Let Neo speak, and then I will give. Ojait, you too. What is your opinion?
Ma'am, can I try?
May I try?
Let Neo. I think he's ready to speak. Neo.
Ma'am, he created a lot of English works which are still considered as timeless and well, like.
So that is what you think. Okay, timeless. So what are we going to do with timeless work? How is it going to be of any help to us?
Ma'am.
Yes.
May I try?
Please go ahead.
Ma'am,
Yes.
because he is the father of literature.
So how is it going to help you with father of literature? Suppose you take science later on. How is Shakespeare going to come? You know, how is he going to help you? For example, if you're doing engineering.
Ma'am, because his works were legendary and made people think creative and more interesting.
Suppose, like, for example, yeah, continue.
It gives knowledge of the previous, what happened 400 years ago.
What
Ma'am,
are
and to get a
okay,
ma'am, and to get a gist of their lifestyle in those days.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
To
if
get
you
a
want,
gist of
what
their
are you going to
lifestyle.
do knowing about how they used to live 400 years ago if you have taken up some other
Ma'am, he,
skill?
Ma'am,
he
history.
Are you
contributed
going
a
to
lot to
wear
English language
Ma'am,
and
just for general
advanced it.
knowledge.
for your knowledge that you can just get, you know, facts? Why Shakespeare? Why people are still performing Shakespeare plays? Those who are not interested in literature. And why? What are we going to do? Are we going to, you know, imitate their fashions? Are we going to imitate their lifestyle? No. Well, I've taken all the answers. Yes,
Ma'am, he
these
has
are some
done.
of the.
Ma'am,
These are, yes.
Ma'am, he has done many legendary acts.
So has John Benson. So has Christopher Marlowe. You know, there are Spencer. Why aren't we studying them?
Ma'am,
Why Shakespeare? Well, I've taken your answers,
Ma'am?
and these are yes. Right. So I took all your answers. Yes, these are some of the common answers that I get to hear whenever I have asked or posed this question to them. The reason we study Shakespeare, because we can still connect the emotions with it. Jealousy, it existed then, it exists today. Love, it existed then, it exists even today. The feeling of being avenging against something wrong being done, the master slave relationship existed then, and today it exists in different forms. Subordination, it
betrayal.
exists in different form. So reason for studying Shakespeare's play, because he is one of the playwrights, or rather I would say the only one who has depicted all the emotions that is there among human beings. He has depicted
Excuse me, ma'am.
this plays. Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
And can you even let Ovis in?
OS also he's already there. Okay, I've already let them
Okay,
in.
ma'am.
So
There
okay,
was a
so
power failure.
so is it clear now why we are studying Shakespeare? Because we can relate with the emotions of each and every aspect that we have, we as human beings we have. Of course, gathering knowledge, getting to know about that, these are, these will fall in this, it's a secondary thing. The main reason is that we talk about various emotions. You will see in Merchant of Venice, you will see there is this character Antonio, and then there is this character called Bassanio, and then the friendship that existed. Don't we have friendship in today's time? Don't we have best friends? Don't we want to do something good for our best friend? We have that. So this is another emotion. Then we see Bassanio falls in love with Portia. Don't we all fall in love? Of course not now. Later on in your, you have a kind of, later on in your life you will find your life partner. So again, an emotion that was existed then and it exists now. Shylock, the villain of all time, he's supposed to be the villain of all time. He wants to take revenge for all the for the way Antonio has been demeaning him. Antonio has been kind of insulting him. Okay, it takes place even today. It takes place. We want secret. So these are certain emotions that connect us with Shakespeare's play, and that is one of the major reason why we are studying his play. Clear? Any question? Children, you need to be thorough as to why we are doing Merchant of Venice, so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Any question? Okay. Now some of the interesting facts that I was telling you about. London was banned, you can see. Oops. I've mentioned out here some of the interesting facts. You can read, one of you. Chester, read the first point. Priyadarshini, the second point.
In 1591, London theatres were banned from performing on Thursdays because that was the day when beer baiting took place. Beer baiting
Yeah.
Baiting was a popular form of entertainment where bears were tied to a post in a pit and tormented by dogs.
So you got now what is beer baiting? This is what beer baiting. Therefore, Thursdays was supposed to be meant for this. Next one, please read. Toshit, switch on your camera, please. Next one.
Most people, rich or poor, left home as children to live in a similar household to train for their adult life.
So this is again one of the aspects of that time. Next.
There were government laws about fabrics and furs that people could wear, so that you could tell at a glance how well off and or important a person was.
Yes, there are certain dress code that was maintained. Okay, so that is how people were. That is how they were told the certain fabrics. It was not available to everyone. If you come from a poor, first of all, you can't afford. Second, you are not allowed to wear it also. So it was strict rules that certain fabrics were meant only for the rich class. Okay, next, Girija, read the next one.
People didn't drink water as it often made people sick because it was contaminated with sewage. Instead, adults and children mostly drank small, weak beer.
Yes. Krishna Shroff, read the last point.
Elizabethan boys in the upper class families would wear dresses until the age of 7 when they were put into their breeches.
So you see, boys and girls till the age of 7 had to wear dress, long gowns. And then they were, after that, the demarcation was made. Okay, you are a boy, so now you get into the breeches or your trousers. So that is how the life view of, the children and the adults were. These are some of the famous quotes, by Shakespeare. You can see that some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Then you have the second one. These are, evergreen quotes. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never test of death but once. That is every time. It's again a beautiful way to, talk about how you fear death, but it is only the brave who will actually die after they have seen what the world is all about. It's a beautifully way to express. Then the next one, how sharp than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. That is, it is painful when your child becomes thankless, when your child does not respect the parent. It is sharper than a serpent's tooth. So beautifully explained. This is from Julius Caesar. Beware the Ides of March. Ides is 15th March. That is the day predicted for Shakespeare's assassination. So this is again a very famous line. Then you have the next one, which is from your Merchant of Venice that you will be studying. All that glister is not gold. That is everything that is beautiful and shiny. It is not always precious. Yes, somebody said, ma'am.
Again, the last one is also from the Julius Caesar.
Last one is not, yes, last one is also from Julius Caesar. The fault, dear Brutus, lies not within the stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. We are just mere mortals. We are human beings. So like this, there are there are many quotes, many lines that is evergreen. And for example, love is blind. Okay. And then we have all that, sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thoughts. These are certain lines that have been coined by Shakespeare. And I hope now you know about Shakespeare. You have a little idea of what he wrote, why he wrote, the time period, and the way people were. In my next slide, that is, in my next class, part 2, I will be discussing some of the special features of Shakespeare's play, words that he uses, that you will be familiarized with when you are going to study Merchant of Venice. That I will be doing special features and also the characterization, a little gist of what Merchant of Venice is all about.